Here we go. We are back. Aston Villa are back in action. I think it's been about 9 days, hasn't it? Feels like it's been forever. But Aston Villa are back in action at Villa Park against Leicester City. A game I'm really looking forward to. And as the saying and as the word goes, I'm absolutely buzzing for it. So there we go. Stick that in your 1 minute intro. Really looking forward to it. Like I say, it feels like it's been a long time. So I'm joined by Ryan and Justin. So I think it's only right that we go back to our last game, just have a little chat and reminder about what went so well. And then we'll get on to expectations with 18 games to go, our thoughts on Leicester City, thoughts on the January window as a whole, not just Villa, because I feel like we've done that to death now. So we'll have a look at how January went, what teams strengthened, what teams didn't, where that places us, etc. So we want you to get involved in everything that we're discussing. We'll have a pause after each topic and we'll have a look at what you guys are saying. So let's have a little look then at what we did so well against Southampton. So this was our average positions from that game. Very tight, very compact, really organised, and it was a really good away performance. It was a performance where I saw us win away, which was brilliant. So
bad time.
A long time ago, but thoughts from that evolving now into Leicester?
Yeah, feels like a long time ago, doesn't it? I think with all the transfer activity and the negativity that's surrounded our dealings in the transfer window, it's sort of taken away the real good form that we've been in and what we are building on the pitch and what Emery's building and how well as a team and as a squad and as a club we're actually growing and moving in the right direction. And we look at them average positions that it tells you a lot, really. I know each game is different and your shape can change based on the style of the game, but we're seeing Emery's tactics that we looked at before he come and what he's implementing now. We're actually seeing it evolve and it become more tighter and more compact like that. When you draw it on paper of how you want that team to look and their positions and their positional roles that they take up, that there against Southampton is pretty much bang on the money, isn't it? You're seeing players grow into what they're being asked to do, and I just feel like Emery's coming, and obviously he's got this base of a tactic that he likes to use, but it's suited a lot of our players to the ground, and you are seeing the best out of them, really. Bailey, he is hit and miss for me. He's inconsistent, but he's a winger, and they have spells like that, don't they? But Emery's got the best out of him so far, out of any other manager. He's put him in a position where he can cause damage, where he can score goals, which he's doing. He's chipping him.
Put you in a better position.
I feel better.
Just waiting for that. I was going to say that.
I've just no one in the chat clocked on what happened. But I'll put you in the right position, mate.
Yeah, well done, mate. But just playing everyone to their strengths. You're getting the best out of Louise. For so long, he played in that defensive midfield role on his own. Weren't comfortable in it really, but did a competent job. Kamara alongside him, he's got that partnership booming. Even McGinn in that right wing position, you're starting to see the best of McGinn again. Defensively, we're looking solid again. Mings and Konza, their confidence is up. Forever Young is just going and going. And Martinez, who you think can't get any better, he's getting better, isn't he? You're seeing his ball skills. His confidence as well. He's off the back of a World Cup, but his confidence on the ball, playing out of the back. He's just got the players on board, and he's got him into a system that really suits him. So,
and what he's been able to do when you're saying about get him into a system, he's been able to turn these players that he's got and make them look like they should be in this system as well, which is a credit to Emery, a credit to the players, and a credit to what they're trying to do. That, you know, he's came into a club and he has actually been able to get a tune out of them, and not just get a tune out of them, get them playing how he wants them playing, which is really good as well. So, you make some brilliant points, Ryan. And if we just have another look at some more of these little graphics of what we've got from what we saw against Southampton, again, you can see that Villa attacking predominantly down the left-hand side, which is a running theme of what we've started to see under Unai Emery. And we've noticed that we are now starting to get a lot of shots off, which is something that what we haven't been doing for quite a while. So we really trying to work our openings, but we're also peppering the goal as well, which is something that's, you know, I just love us just shooting from outside the box more, etc. So we are starting to see, and it was a real dominant performance. And, you know, after the Southampton game, I like to watch. I watch loads of fan channels. You know, I watch loads, and, you know, I flick through the Southampton ones, and even before that game, there was a certain podcast I was watching, and they were saying that Villa were there for the taking, which I just felt was a bit like, well, we're not there for the taking. Do you know what I mean? And even after the game, I watched the one where they reviewed the game, and they were still saying that we were there for the taking after that performance. And
Luke, under Emery, we will never be there for the taking. No chance.
And you know, I watched that game, and I showed you the graphics after it. 70% possession in the first half. That ain't a team that's there for the taking. So, you know, I just found it interesting how a different fan perspective can watch a game where, for me, I felt like we were pretty dominant in it. So just get your last thoughts on the Southampton, then Justin, and then we'll move on a little bit.
Yeah, I think you've covered it well, both of you, to be honest. I think something really that's standing out for me is that our comfortableness just having a 1-goal lead in games. You know, how many years have we been 1 or 2 up and we just know what's coming next? So these 1-0 and 2-1 wins, they're great because not only has he got a plan how to attack teams, but he's also got a master plan when we get ahead in games, which I love. You know, he knows how to shut the shop up. He knows what you need to do to get over the line in games. And it's probably one of the most critical parts of football, isn't it? Is getting ahead's one thing, but staying ahead is so important. And you can't be, you know, soft at the back. And I love the way it goes about it. You know, away wins are very hard to come by in the Premier League. Very, very hard to come by. So to have 3 on the trot when you've just come into a club is phenomenal. You know, and we've been to difficult places. It's not like we've just been to easy places. Going to Brighton away, winning there. You know, they're flying it. They're Brighton. So that was a fantastic result. So I think it's great to see. Southampton was never going to be an easy rollover game because they're fighting for their lives, aren't they? Very similar to, I suppose, what we're going to face at the weekend with Leicester. And I just love the way he goes about it. You know there's a plan at the start of the game, and you know if it's not going right, he's got a plan B, and you know that if we get ahead, he knows how to see the game out. So it's been a very, very long time since I've been so comfortable trusting the manager with every aspect of the game, you know, how to win it, how to get ahead. If we go behind, not panic and find a way to try and get back in the game, as we saw against Wolves. So, you know, all round, I think, as we knew when we got him, to be honest, that we was getting a top manager, but it's only really when you start watching it week in, week out, when you can truly sort of appreciate the difference between an also-ran manager, which Gerrard turned out to be, somebody that was learning his trade, that wasn't fine-tuned in all these things, compared to a bloke that's been sort of doing it at the highest level in European football for a long, long time. And we've got to just make sure we look after him and we show him how much we love him. And I think we'll just go for strength. Yeah,
definitely. And, you know, if we have a look at our current form. So this is form since Emery came in. So Emery's had 7 games with Aston Villa, and the 7 games since Emery came in. So we've had 5 wins, 1 draw and 1 loss, and we're on 16 points. And that is the 7 games that Unai Emery has had in charge of this side. So, you know, it's been a remarkable start, an absolute fantastic start. 3 away wins. And then I'd say more of the struggles, if there have been any, have came at home, really. We beat Leeds at home, but that was a difficult game. We lost to Liverpool at home. Could have got something from that game. And then we drew to Wolves, which was another tough game. So away from home, the 3 wins in a row have been absolutely brilliant. And you can really start to see, for me, a bit of a difference in the way we play at home and away. So I just wanted to show you the current form table since Emery's come in. And
I think also as well, getting off to such a good start under Emery, it also brings you another thing in football. It is how other teams see you as a club. And I think that's huge in football. Currently, people, when you play Newcastle, for example, because they're doing so well, they've had such a good season, immediately, you think, I've got Newcastle this weekend. And you think you're up for a really tough game against them. And we are now starting to become that team that, like Brighton are getting as well, because they've had such a good season. Fulham have got it to an extent now. People take you very, very seriously when you're on these kind of runs. And the longer we can continue these runs going, the more respect we're going to get from every single club that we're playing against. So all of a sudden, you've got almost a little advantage, before you start these games, because you're becoming a real serious player in the Premier League. And it's very important to keep these momentum. And if you do lose a game, which we invariably will, to make sure you get straight back on the winning streak and at least don't lose the next one. These things often go in quite a lot of runs as well. So it's really important as well to become a force and to become someone that people fear again.
Yeah, we've probably gone slightly under the radar at the minute, haven't we? With Emery coming in the sort of couple of games before the World Cup and then the World Cup break and after. No one's really sussed us out, have they? And I guess the more successful we get and the way our form is going, more teams will look into us and try and expose parts of our game that we haven't seen exposed yet. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Emery deals with that as well.
Yeah. Definitely. So there's 18 games to go over the course of 4 months. So not long left. Not long left, really. But yeah, we've only got 4 months worth of football to watch. And
not get injured.
Well, don't say it because you'll start.
But it's not a hectic schedule, is it? That's the thing. 18 games in 16 weeks. Yeah. And the odd break for like FA Cup weekends.
April's pretty mad.
We've got any international breaks as well. No doubt they'll start rearing their head again, won't they?
Yeah.
So let's have a look then. Villa fans, what I want you to do in the comment section now is drop a like on this stream. I also want you to put where you feel like Aston Villa will finish this season, and we'll run through what we expect and what we think is going to happen. And then I'll put yours on the screen as well. So I'm just going to share the screen with you and put the actual Premier League table on. So in my honest opinion, taking my Aston Villa glasses off completely, if I'm looking at this table now, I'm looking at Chelsea and I'm thinking they have to get 6th place. Chelsea, with what they've spent, surely cannot finish below 6th place. So you'd imagine that for me, they would get their act together. I would also imagine that Liverpool will get their act together as well. So I'm saying 6th and 7th will be Chelsea and Liverpool. I think we are in a fight between Brentford, Palace, Fulham and Brighton to get 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th or 12th. I think the lowest we'll finish this season is 12th. The highest we could finish is 8th. So that's where I'm at. That's where my little scrap is. And that's where I feel like we are at. So, Ryan, what are you saying? Where's your head at?
I'm looking at that and I'm thinking the same as you, really. I think Liverpool and Chelsea will get their act together and get into them European spots. And then it's a fight out, isn't it? I think Fulham might peter off a little bit now. I think that their job's done, really, isn't it? They've had such a fantastic season. But I think eventually it might just catch up with them a little bit. And then you're looking at Brighton and Brentford, who have been run superbly, haven't they, for the last 2-3 seasons, especially Brentford since they've come into the Premier League. They've dealt with that transition between Championship and Premier League with ease, really, because they're so organised off the pitch. Their recruitment is great. So you're looking at getting in between and amongst them too, I think. Top 10 for me would be a good achievement because, just before the World Cup break, just before Emery come in, I was really nervous that we was going to be in that relegation zone come Christmas time, and we'd be in there all over the World Cup and come back out, and I was looking at the fixtures, Tottenham away, Liverpool away, and I was dreading it. Now we're sitting comfortable at mid-table. You look down at Leicester, our opponents, they're right in trouble. There's some big clubs down there, West Ham, Everton. I'm so glad we're out of it. So for me, I'm just happy to take one game at a time and just see where we end up. And if we end up in a European fight or whatever, then so be it. I wouldn't get disappointed if we were close to it and just petered off at the end. But I do want us achievement this season, and it would be a huge achievement considering where we was, is to finish top 10.
Yeah. Justin, where are you at?
Yeah, I was looking, actually, I said to you a lot on the group earlier, I was looking at our pre-season predictions and where we all thought and to be honest, I think you and me, Luke, said 7th, and I think Ryan and Hannah said 8th. So we're not a million miles away, considering the upheaval we've had and the run we had under Gerrard and the negativity surrounding all that and the change of manager. You'd be forgiven to say that, if you finished 10th, 11th, 12th, then fair enough. It was a season of just getting things straight again. So to even be talking about still being able to finish 7th, 8th, 9th, I think it just shows the quality of the manager we've brought in, the way he's immediately settled the ship. And not only that, but he's took us on and we've started like a train. So if we can keep anything like the form that we're currently taking up, then I don't really see a problem with us. It's pushing now at least 1 or 2 places higher than we are. Newcastle are the team that have just totally blown my predictions out of the water. So I think they're pretty much set for at least a top 6 finish minimum. You would think, like you say, that Chelsea and Liverpool at some point, I mean, the money that Chelsea have outlaid and the quality of players they've brought in. I didn't know a lot about that Mudryk before he came in, but I watched him with his debut. He looks a fantastic footballer. João Felix is going to score goals. They've brought in quality at the back. They've brought in so many good players. Liverpool, there's a bit bigger question mark over them because they haven't done a lot in the window, and a lot of their players are out of form. I'm not sure about Gakpo. I think he was possibly one of these signings from a World Cup that does okay in a World Cup but doesn't go on to really set the world on fire after a big move. So, but having said that, they have got the quality to move up the table. So I think if we can finish around the 8th mark, I think we've done absolutely fantastically well. Brighton and Brentford are the obvious two that we're going to have to fight it out with. I do agree that I think Fulham at some point will drop away, but they've had a season beyond their wildest dreams, to be honest. Brighton and Brentford are just 2 teams that are fantastically well run. They've got amazing teams, and they're currently riding the crest of a wave, aren't they? They're having an absolute purple patch season. So it's going to be very, very difficult. We're going to have to match their consistency. That's the thing. They are both very consistent teams. They're very settled sides. They don't get many injuries. So if we can go toe-to-toe with them to the end of the season, then no reason why we can't get in and around 8th, I think.
Yeah. I think everyone's sort of 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. So, it's not much in it, is there? So Leicester are up next. News coming out of Leicester today is that their owner has writ off their debt and moved it to a parent company. So we now, how Leicester haven't been able to spend any money because they ain't got none. He's basically writ all the debt off. So they've got a clean pathway now to sign players and do whatever. So that's good news for Leicester, I guess. But Leicester, difficult side. A side I don't really like playing against, to be fair. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's have a look at the tail of the tape of what's been on previously, and then we'll get into our thoughts ahead of Leicester then. So let's get into it. Here we go then. So head-to-head record. Not great on Villa's part. 26 games played, 6 wins for Villa, 10 for Leicester, 10 draws. We had 4 home wins in the Premier League era, and they've had 4 away wins. Current form is obviously on Villa's side. The form table, Villa sitting in second place. They went on a terrible run here, losing to Newcastle, Liverpool, Fulham, Forest, and then they picked up a decent draw at home against Brighton. So they did beat Walsall in the FA Cup as well. So they've got a little bit of momentum going into this. This is how they lined up for their last game against Brighton. It's a 4-2-3-1 formation. Harvey Barnes, we'll get into him in a bit as well. This was their average positions from this game as well. So pretty tidy, pretty compact, 4-2-3-1. They'll pose a threat on the counter-attack as well. They attacked predominantly down the left-hand side, so they're going to be coming at Ashley Young or Matty Cash. Again, we'll get into that on the predicted lineup anyway. And then this is how they lined up against Walsall, and James Maddison made his first appearance coming back from the World Cup as well. So it's obviously took him a little bit of time to get up to speed because he just wasn't playing at the World Cup, was he? So there we go. And then if we just have a little look at this, this is the stuff that I don't like. This is Harvey Barnes, his record against Aston Villa in the last 3 seasons. He scored twice in 1920 against us in a 4-0 win. He scored once in a 2-1 victory at the King Power. No, that was at the King Power. He got an assist and a goal. And then he scored last season in the 21-22 season in a 2-1 win, in a 2-1 loss, against Villa. So Harvey Barnes in the last 3 seasons has bagged goals against us. Another one who's bagged goals against us is Iheanacho. If you can see on this graphic here, this is a graphic of where all of his goals have come from. And this one here, 6 goals come against Aston Villa. Has he scored any more against anyone else?
No.
So Iheanacho loves playing against the Villa, so hopefully he's on the bench. And then the other one, Vardy. He also doesn't mind playing against the Villa, but recently he hasn't really hit too much form against us. That game where Grealish scored the good goal, I think it was his first goal in the Premier League. He scored there, and then he scored 2 in the 1920 season, and then he scored again 2 more in the same season. So he got 2 at home, 2 in away, and he hasn't really scored since. So, Ryan, what we saying about Leicester then? Are we confident? How are we feeling? What are you expecting from us?
Well, now you've done that, I'm expecting them 4 players to score against us, so we're going to have to score 5, aren't we? We're going to have to win 5-4. I think with Vardy, as soon as we stop singing about Rebecca Vardy, he stops scoring. So we'll have none of that from the whole team. But I'll tell you what I'm buzzing for, lads. What I am buzzing for most about this game: 3 o'clock kickoff at Villa Park. So cannot wait for that. Can't believe we're in February now and we haven't had the traditional Saturday 3 o'clocker. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to hopefully a good atmosphere. Is it Project B6, isn't it, that's organised the scarves? Yeah. So get your scarves down there. Let's try and generate a good atmosphere.
Well, we're hearing Vardy's injured apparently, so
good.
I guess that's good news.
We'll win 4-3 then. But I had my one to watch as James Maddison. I think he's been absolutely terrific this season. 7 goals, 14 games. He's created 31 chances in them 14 games. 40 shots on goal as well. And without him, Leicester are bottom. He's their point of difference. Without James Maddison this season, Leicester are rooted to the bottom. They picked up a couple of good wins just before the World Cup break. And then obviously Maddison got injured while at the World Cup. And look at their form since. It's been dreadful. I think their defence is poor. I think it's low on confidence. I don't rate the goalkeeper. I think he's out of depth, to be honest. I'm surprised that they haven't strengthened really in that department. But like you said, there's still big threats as Harvey Barnes, Iniacho. We seem to have these records, don't we? All the time. Your Danny Welbeck's.
There's loads of them, isn't there? You just keep going. They've all got one.
They have, man. They have. Tillemans as well. He's a cracking player as well. So, but tactically, it's another challenge, isn't it? It's like they've mixed it up between 4-4-2 and 4-2-3-1. And Rodgers is he is a very, very capable manager, but God knows where his head is at the minute, because they wanted him out. They couldn't afford him out. Now they've paid off the debt. He's probably thinking, they can sack me now. But he done well to recover from a very bad start, wasn't it? Really, really bad start. I think they were the last team to win a game. But for us, I'm looking for 3 points. Yeah. I agree that. Well, the facts are there, aren't they? They're a bit of a bogey team, really. Only 6 Premier League wins. So, yes, I'm looking for a Villa win.
Yeah, definitely. It will be a tough game, but I think, again, it's about how we play as well, isn't it? It's about what we do. Hopefully we kick towards the Holt end, bag an early goal. Atmosphere is going to be great.
But what's your thoughts on that, Luke? Because he didn't. Was it the last game they did it on purpose? Shooting towards the Holt end.
I think it's us that's turning it round.
I think they did against Leeds.
I don't think any team would just turn it round for the sake of it, because it's just like,
it's normally when you've got like an ex-Villa player playing that makes you turn it around. But,
yeah. So,
but yeah, it looks like it's a decision that's been made to kick towards the Holt first half.
Yeah, I think so. So Justin, how are you feeling then?
Yeah, I think it's a great move to kick towards the Holt end first. Why not give yourself that advantage as early as you can and get to, like we've seen in a couple of the games where we've kicked there, we've gone 2 or 3 up. So, give yourself an early advantage instead of maybe trying to chase the game in the second half, kicking there. Yes, Leicester, home. They are a little bit of a strange team. I always have a funny feeling when we play them. Maybe historically because they've had this really good last few seasons since they won the league, and they've obviously won the FA Cup. So they've had a great run, but it definitely seems to be petering out now, as generally it does with teams of sort of that size. I mean, you can't knock them. They've won the Premier League. There's not many teams done that, is there? So, but it definitely seems to be on the way now. Their sort of main players have either gone or are finished now. Vardy's, I've just looked, he's injured. He could be missing for most of the month with a training injury, muscle pull, I think. So that's good news. Whilst they're not really firing up front, Daka or Iniacho or Vardy aren't really scoring bucket loads of goals, you'd still rather not have them there, to be honest. It's going to be interesting whether he chucks Maddison in now from the start after his game against Leicester, against Walsall in the Cup. He's an obvious threat. Their threats come from the obvious places. You've already covered them. Harvey Barnes, Jay Maddison and Yuri Tillemans. So their midfield is the key for them getting anything from any game now, in my opinion. Dewsbury Hall's okay. The back four for me and the keeper, that's where we win the game. I don't think they're that strong there. They've just splashed out £15 million on another centre-half. So it'll be interesting to see whether they throw him in at the weekend. I think we can win this game. I think there'll be nothing stopping us winning this game. It's down to us, really, to go and execute whatever plan Emery sees fit to win the game. The only way we don't win the game unless is if they somehow pull off they suddenly play out of their skin, which, if you've got a player like Maddison, who knows, he can definitely pull 1 or 2 really decent bits of skill out of the bag, or a couple of assists, or even bang a goal in from 35 yards. But apart from that, I see us controlling the game from the start. I see us being really, really dominant. I think we'll keep the ball well. I think we've seen week on week now just to keep improving, and he likes to play it from the back, so I don't see that changing. I think it's another opportunity for Ollie Watkins to get another goal and maybe start a little run for him now towards the end of the season. And we've got players that can open them up, another chance of Buendia to do something. McGinn's fit again, that's good news for us. Luca Dean's back in the squad again, that's good news for us. The double pivot is just amazing, so that'll keep it tight. I think in fact, the double pivot and the 2 centre-halves is where our strength is, and Martinez. I mean, so our spine of the team is all playing really well at the moment. The only positions that are probably not quite fiery. He's the sort of attacking players that open teams up. We could do with a Buendia or a Coutinho or a Bailey or, I don't know whether Traore's fit yet, to really have a real blinder, and maybe Ollie Watkins nick a goal. But I've not... anybody can lose a game on any day, obviously, but I think if we can just play anything like we have done over the 7 games, the 7 league games that we have done under Emery, I see nothing but a Villa win, to be honest, on Saturday.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll be a good game, and they are under pressure, Leicester, as well. They're only on 7. Are they on 17 points? Might be a little bit in front, mightn't they?
They're 3 points. They're 14th, but they're 3 points off the bottom.
Yeah,
that's how tight it is.
Yeah, they got 18 points from 20 games.
So they're still under a bit of pressure, aren't they?
And their away form, they've only picked up 9 points. What have they picked up away form?
Yeah, they beat Wolves in there. Wolves, Everton, and somebody.
Yeah, 9 points in I think away. Yeah, in 10 games. And they've conceded 23 goals in 10 games away from home this season. So I think we've got to make sure we get an early goal and then just put the foot down on them and get the second and the third. I don't think we want to get messing around with a 1-0 or a 2-0. Let's because we've got 2 really difficult games coming up. So if we can go into those games with a really good win on Saturday, then it'll give us a real good springboard to kick on for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, cool. So the January window slammed shut. To disappointment.
Right, I'm off. See ya.
We're coming back from the transfer talk here, right?
I've got no nightmares about transfer window.
We're in the trenches. We've got our camouflage on. We're coming again. Right. So let's have a look then. Premier League, how did it go? Who signed what? How much did each team spend? I was hearing a little bit about our rival strengthening. I'm not, it depends on who you think our rivals are. But if we have a look at what we did then, we spent £30 million. We have a look at what Bournemouth did. They went quite big, didn't they? They spent £56 million on a really young, highly thought and, a really good centre-back there. I've heard really good things about him. Otario as well. Everton were linked with him, but he's chose to go to Bournemouth. So, they've spent quite a bit of dough.
Sorry, Luke, just on that one you were just talking about, the centre-half. I saw that, did Bournemouth do a cheeky tweet to Football Manager saying that he was one of their wonder kids on their thing? That was quite good,
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Brentford spent £1 million. Brighton spent 10 million. They again bought 2 youngsters, so I'm guessing these 2 here are probably going to go to Chelsea for about 200 million in about a year's time. So
keep your eye out for them.
Why don't teams just, whoever Brighton are in for, why don't you just match them and just sign who they go for?
They do seem to do well, don't they, in the market?
I mean,
here's the one.
This was owned by one team. I mean, some of these players have signed are brilliant. I mean, Enzo Fernandez, he's going to be an absolute superstar. 121 million. Mudryk, 70.
He's got to be a superstar for 121 bloody million.
Yeah.
Christ.
They signed a striker in Fofana. João Felix on loan. Look at the age of these players, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 20, 23, and 18.
Good luck, Chukwuemeka.
That's what you call a transfer window.
That is some window. Crystal Palace spent £12 million. They got someone on loan from Arsenal, didn't they? Lokonga. Everton spent loads, absolutely loads. 0.
Remember when we got relegated that January window? I thought reinforcements were going to come along, but we spent exactly the same, 0.
I think, isn't it funny though? The 2 managers under the most pressure after the transfer window is Potter at Chelsea after spending 350 million, and now Dyche at Everton after spending absolutely nothing. I mean, the 2 clubs have piled pressure on their managers there for totally different reasons, haven't they?
Yeah.
Christ knows what Potter's been doing this winter. He must be thinking, what the hell is going on? Because
He's
there's
been
no
sitting
way.
on his office, hitting his head against the wall. How am I going to get all these players in the team?
He's like walking around the training ground going, who's that? I was just signed him for 80 million. Okay, come on in, man.
9 million for Fulham. They bought a central midfielder. Leeds did good business, I think. I like the look of Rutter. Wober had a good game in their last game that they played as well. I thought he was good. Let's see what McKennie can do. Let's see what he's all about. Leicester, like we were saying, have bought a centre-back and a left-back.
That was it, Stutty, yeah.
Yeah, they spent 31. Got him from Stoke, and Twanzabi's now gone back to Stoke.
Yeah, I saw that.
So,
It's a good move for him, that is, to restart his career.
Manchester United spent £2.96 million, bought in Weghorst on loan. Tragic. Newcastle bought Gordon, and Forest, again, spent quite a lot of money on a lot of players.
How many players did Forest bring in again?
1,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They bought about 33 in the summer.
Remember that thing, financial fair play? I think that's gone.
Don't think it counts.
No, you can get away with it now, can't you?
Loopholes, they're getting shut up now after Chelsea's window, I think.
I read somewhere that they're stopping that. You know what I was on about, the amortisation?
Yeah, stopping it.
You can spread the.
That's why Chelsea's done what they've done, hasn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they are saying that because the window opens in June or something, you've got a month where you can still do that loophole.
Oh, until that loophole gets shut.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
So West Ham signed. We best not say his name, had we? And then Wolves signed Wolves did bits, didn't they? They had a really good window. Wolves did.
They haven't spent a lot though for the amount of players they've brought in, have they?
No.
I think you know what Wolves' best signing there is for me, Craig Dawson.
Yeah.
Fantastic Premier League centre half.
So there we go. That is the window of what it looks like. So Brighton spent 10 million. Brentford spent 1. Fulham spent 9. Palace spent 12. So yeah, it's the usual suspects, isn't it, in the window? The teams that are down the bottom are scrambling for their lives, apart from Everton. And then the rest are just trying to fight it out. So yeah, that's what we got. That's what we got moving forward. I'm continuing to watch Toffee TV. It's an Everton's podcast. They're really great guys, and I just feel so sorry for them. It just brings back vibes of when we got relegated. Just hearing how they're talking and what they're saying and stuff. So, I do feel a little bit sorry for the fans of Everton, So let's do our score predictions then. We've gone through a bit of everything. Then in the chat, then put your score predictions for Aston Villa v Leicester. I'm going to go for 2-1 Villa. Duran bullet header.
He's gone for it.
I'm only joking. He will come off the bench. We have seen him. I've seen a lot of questions about Duran in the chat. Whether we think he's going to feature. He's 110% going to be on the bench.
He's our backup striker. He better feature.
Yeah. So he's going to be on the bench. And I'm going 2-1 Villa. Ryan, what are you going with?
Well, I've got the last 2 score predictions correct on this channel.
Say that, yeah.
So I'm going for a hat trick. I also have got 2 correct scorecasts in a row as well. So I've got plenty of tokens in my betting account. So I'm going the same with you, Luke. I am going Aston Villa 2, Leicester 1.
Nice.
Don't know about Duran bullet header, but Man Watkins.
I'll tell you what. If Duran wins it with a bullet header, I'm going to end up in the lower alt. So, Justin, what are you going with?
So, if we win 2-0 and Duran gets both, is that Duran?
Sure is. Every journalist are going to be waiting to pen that, aren't they, as their headline?
Yeah. I think we'll win the game. comfortably. I don't see them scoring. I think 3-0 Villa. I think we're in for a good game Saturday. The comeback game after a break for 2 weeks, everybody will be buzzing. I think Watkins couple maybe get him on the scoring trail. Maybe let's go for a Coutinho wonder goal as well. Back time he notch one.
Cheeky little Coutinho.
Cheeky,
Nice little goal on the training clip today, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Duran put it out, Folly in the lower hole. Jake sits in front of me, so yeah, I'll join you in there. Right then, so we'll leave it at that then. Match preview, Aston Villa v Leicester. We have all of our normal content coming this week. We have got predicted lineup, which will be out tomorrow. We have then got press conference reaction on Friday, followed by fan cams after the game. If any of you ever want to join us or come and say hi, we sort of stand where the stage is by the Trinity Road, just at the back of the McGregor statue. You can come on the fan cams. It's open for anyone if you want to come and have your say. And then we'll have all of our other match reaction content after that as well. So cheers everyone for watching. Cheers for tuning in, and up the Villa.
Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.